Ukrainian paratroopers captured 21 Russian invaders in the Kursk region. The press service of the command of the Ukrainian air assault forces reported on this. One of the captured invaders is a native of the so-called Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic, a Russian-occupied part of Moldova with the puppet entity Transnistria. All the POWs are from elite branches and certain types of Russian troops, Russian airborne forces and Russian naval infantry. These are soldiers from the 155th and 810th Guards Naval Infantry Brigades, the 76th Guards Air Assault Division, the 83rd Separate Guards Air Assault Brigade, and other units of these units. Although this is not the first time that soldiers from these military units have been captured, two of those captured by Ukrainian paratroopers deserve special attention. One is a native of the occupied part of Moldova, Kachev Vadim Alexandrovich, born on January 22, 2005, who identifies himself as a resident of the Transnistria. He is a soldier of the 810th Guards Naval Infantry Brigade of the Russian Federation. Moldovan journalist Konstantin Dikusar mentioned the recruitment of residents of the so-called Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic to the Russian army in his article for Militarny, Army of the PMR, who serves and are ready to fight with Ukraine. The other is a native of the occupied part of the Zaporizhzhia region, namely the village of Mikhailivka, Vasiliev district. His name is Mikai, or Vikai, Ivan Dmitrievich, born on September 14, 2003. In the video, he could not answer the unit's affiliation, only saying 34th Group, and did not offer further details. A video appeared online that reportedly shows two Russian soldiers on crutches. They even tried to shoot down a drone with a crutch. Similar videos started appearing more frequently now. Reports have emerged indicating that Russia is redeploying wounded and disabled soldiers to the front lines in Ukraine. According to Ukrainian military intelligence, Russian commanders are pressuring injured personnel to return to combat before full recovery, often without adequate medical evaluation. This practice has allegedly led to decreased morale and effectiveness among Russian troops, as well as increased casualty rates. Over 1,000 Russian soldiers who are sick, injured, or refusing to fight are being held prisoner in a concentration camp. They are chained to their bunks and denied medical treatment or hearings before they are sent to Ukraine to die en masse in meat wave assaults. The Novokuznetsk Capital Telegram channel has posted a video reportedly of men from the 74th Kuzbas Motorized Rifle Brigade showing multiple men lying in bunks inside a tented structure. They are clearly chained to the bunks with wrist manacles. Relatives of the men have released the video and say that, according to the men, a penal regiment, similar to the Stalin-era Strafbats, has been created in a camp in Yurga, in Russia's Kemerovo region in Siberia. The men are a mixture of the wounded and sick, those who went AWOL, and some who came into conflict with their previous commanders and were transferred to the penal regiment as a punishment. One soldier says, "There are people without fingers, there are old men who don't understand where they are, there are people on crutches." One soldier says, "There are people without fingers, there are old men who don't understand where they are, there are people on crutches." Last week, 5 military policemen beat up a boy. They think they are tough and right, says one relative. They turned in a comrade from the company. The military police took him, poured pepper spray on his face, and beat him, another source says. A relative comments on how the imprisoned soldiers are treated. If in the camp they feed you once a day, then in the penal camp, they sometimes forget to feed you at all. They don't always take you to the toilet either. They wet themselves. What kind of treatment is this? They sit in handcuffs and pray that they won't be killed. We just don't know what can be done. It turns out they will be killed at the front anyway, and they won't be able to live in the Refusenik camp anyway. The camp is said to include a prison within a prison, a holding area where offenders are kept on a concrete floor without food or water. They put people in 30 by 10 square meters and let them go to the toilet once a day. Or they might forget. People go into bottles, and sometimes under themselves, one soldier says. If you start to assert your rights, literally, if you ask a doctor for a wounded man who has started to fester, you are sent to the internal prison. In what appears to be a fairly common scam in the Russian army, the guards force the prisoners to transfer money to them electronically. They take away their phones, then secretly bring them for money, call from other people's numbers. Well, it's purely a prison. The camp is said to be just one of many similar concentration camps across Russia for soldiers who are sick, wounded, or refusing to fight. The relative of one soldier imprisoned at Yurga says that he was transferred from a similar camp in Berdsk, near Novosibirsk. All the sick and wounded from Berdsk were thrown into one regiment with Category D, unfit for military service, on crutches, bandaged. In November, they promised this regiment of invalids a military medical commission, but in the end, they were simply thrown into Yurga. Now they are not promised any medical commission to determine their fitness, no examination. They will be taken straight to the front. There are about 700 people left there in Berdsk, as I was told. According to the men at Yurga, they are all going to be sent to the front in the next few days, where they will be expended in meat assaults. They will transport us under escort, like cattle. We will seal the carriages at the prisoners' expense, they said. Just like they transported prisoners in 1945. Just like that. No exits, no entrances. Some had already left in November. There was the first dispatch to Kursk. Some had already been killed. The treatment of these soldiers highlights two important points. First, it's consistent with an ongoing pattern of sick and badly wounded men being sent back to fight, and usually to die, even going into assaults on crutches. Second, it's a sign that the legal framework, which is supposed to protect Russian soldiers' rights, has broken down on a large scale in Russia, as well as in occupied areas of Ukraine. Since at least 2022, refuseniks have been taken to a network of basement prisons, most notoriously at Zaitsev in the north of the occupied Luhansk region of Ukraine, where they have been tortured and starved to force them back to the front. Now, it seems that a similar and perhaps even larger system of what are effectively concentration camps has been established deep within Russia itself, illustrating how the worst brutalities of the Russian army have spread back into Russia.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.